My name is Anna, and this is my LB274 Bliss project. So a defibrillator is a medical device that delivers an electric shock to the heart to help restore a normal heartbeat. And as someone going into a healthcare profession, I've learned a lot about the heart, and I find it very fascinating. And once I learned that defibrillators contain capacitors, I decided I want to research the inner workings and relate it to physics. Many people across the world rely on defibrillators to keep their heart healthy, so this information will be very useful to them. So here are some of the definitions that I think relate to defibrillators. The most important ones are electric energy, capacitor, current, battery, and electric charge. I chose to draw a circuit diagram, and in this position, the current is only flowing through the top loop, and this allows the capacitor to charge, and when ready, it can deliver the electric shock. And then in this position, the current and voltage flows through the bottom loop, and when ready, it can send the electric shock to the heart. So I chose to investigate, and I decided to research the first defibrillators created. So before current defibrillators, alternating current defibrillators were used, but these posed a threat to the health of the heart. So Berkovitz, who was an engineer, and Lown, who was a cardiologist, designed a defibrillator that delivered a controlled direct current shock to the heart, and this would not damage the heart muscle. Their discovery was very important, and it helped lay the foundation for current defibrillators that we use in medical practices today. So here is step by step on how a defibrillator works. First, it detects heart rhythm. Next, it decides if a shock is appropriate. Then the capacitor charges. Then an electric shock is delivered, and the heart's activity is restored. So here are different types of defibrillators. The first is an automatic external defibrillator, then an advanced life support defibrillator, an implantable cardioverter defibrillator, a wearable cardioverter defibrillator, and a manually external defibrillator. And these different defibrillators differ in the amount of voltage and current that they carry. For example, an AED carries about 20 to 30 amps of current and delivers about 1,000 volts when used. However, an implanted defibrillator only shocks about 800 volts, but it carries more current. So I also chose Create, and I chose to create a glow script code that modeled how a defibrillator delivers a shock. And I did use some help from the internet on things that we haven't learned. But on the right, I have a screenshot of my code as well as a link. And this slide explains what each line of code sets up. Here is the product. The top left shows a Psion box, a gray wire, a green switch, and a red box, and each of these represents something different. And then the bottom shows a before and after current versus time graph after the deliver shock button is pressed. I overall think that my code is pretty accurate. If I was to change anything, I would probably add more components of a circuit, but I didn't want to overcomplicate my code, and I was also unsure of how to do some of those things. Here is my class problem. Here is my sources. And that is all. Thank you.